name is Joseph Patterson. Welcome to One Jamaica TV. This is the place of choice for all who love this country and want to see the nation succeed.
I don't know if that is Appleton is the best. Joseph, thank you for coming on. And I think the discussion that we had even with Cherise from an independent perspective, not knowing much, is really good. Joseph, the 8th of February was the nomination day. And my thing is now, what next now? Okay, what is the process now up to the 26th?
Sure.
To have a
basically, it's campaigning all the way. It's campaigning. Now, if you're one of the two traditional parties, you would have been well prepared by now. You would have known all you need to know. The PDs that you need to cover, which is the polling divisions, where all the polling stations are located. You'd have hired all of your staff by now, your indoor agents, your outdoor agents, your cluster supervisors. You would have figured out how you're going to pay for this, how much money you're going to pay different workers to do different things. You would have bought all of your placards or your posters. You would have wrapped your vehicles with, whatever you want to wrap it with to show your candidacy. You would have organized motorcades with your different workers to go through the communities that's within your jurisdiction. You would be shoring up your support at every area. Now, if you're a young party like the UICs or an independent candidate, you would have been less prepared because independent candidates tend not to know all the inner workings and details because they're not party animals. The other two parties have 80 years of experience on us, 80. So they know full well how everything works. I am a little bit more experienced than most because I did run in the 2016 election as an independent candidate back then. And I've also grown up in a political home where my mom was a political activist. So I have a good understanding of the inner workings. So my personal campaign is a little bit more prepared than others because, every candidate has to do the homework. I can't do it for them. I can tell them about it, but they still have to go and do the homework themselves. So in my particular case, we, are putting together our 152 workers for the day. We'll have 64 indoor agents and 64 outdoor agents and 24 supervisors across all the different PDs. We have our town crier that's going around and doing what needs to be done. We have our posters all ready to go up tomorrow. And we have our funding mechanism worked out. We are totally funded by individual donors, small donors. So like today, for example, as I look at my phone, I'll see 500 US coming in or 250 Canadian or 50 Canadian or 20 pounds or whatever. So that's the little funds that's coming from different direction to help us to pay for all of these costs.
I tell you, while we're having this conversation, I know I've got your details before, but if you're in a position to get someone to just text me details of people can support you, and I can put it up as well while we're talking.
Sure, absolutely. All right. So keep going. What else do you want to know?
The other thing I wanted to know is this, and this is very important. And it has to do with the education, because when one of the things that as I ask a question, which I know, the dust settles, and now the time for public debates and forums. Public debates and forums, hustings. Of course, if this happened, okay, I stood as a council candidate once, and we had to do hustings, whereby you got the Conservative, you got the Labour, and whatever, and we talk to the people within that locality, that municipality, as to what your policy is about and what you're about to the people. Will that happen? Will you be on the platform? I'm sorry, sir?
What's the platform for that you're asking?
Yeah. Will that happen? Whereby three of you or so come together in a room? And
Jamaica is less, in my opinion, less sophisticated. You'll practically have no debates except very high level. And in the last municipal election, the last one, which happened 8 years ago in 2016, which was unconstitutional because we should have had an election 5 years after that.
Yes,
We're 8
yes,
years in. But in the last election, what they had were MPs
yes.
debating MPs of the other side talking about the municipal elections. And one of the reasons for that might be is that most times the councillor candidates are not very bright, which is really scary when you think about it. These people are making decisions about zoning, about building permits, about road and infrastructure, construction and maintenance, permits for all kinds of businesses and so on. But yet still they couldn't hold their own debates. They didn't have the councillors themselves debating. So I don't expect to see any debates among us. They will have, again, maybe they will have the usual big debate, but it will be literally MPs from the two major parties that will be allowed. The UIC will be excluded. The rules that they set exclude us. So the rules are going to be, if you were in the previous election, you must have gotten 8% of the votes to qualify to be the debates. If you weren't in the previous election, you must pay for a poll. Polls are very expensive for small parties to conduct their own polls. They'd like to pay for it. You have to pay for a poll. And then if the poll shows that you have 8% or more support in 4 or more parishes and whatever, then you can get in. So they set some really, high bars. Now, here's the trick. Here's the thing. They had no reason to do that because there are only 4 registered political parties in Jamaica. 4.
Yes.
So there's no harm in just saying.
And remind me of the 4.
Sure.
PNP, JLP,
so you have PNP,
UIC.
JLP, UIC, and then the last one is called the JPP, but they're pretty much defunct. They're not functioning. So really, while there are 4 registered parties, there are only 3 for practical purposes.
Yes.
So if the debates commission, which is controlled by the PSOJ, because they literally say it on their website that it's the PSOJ that's running it. They could simply say, listen, man, we want democracy in Jamaica. Let us use the standard that the party has gotten registered. It has gone through the onerous process of becoming an officially registered party. Let's just have all the official registered parties invite us. Let us say no if we don't want to. Invite us, and then you have the 4 of us on stage. Maybe just the 3, because the other one might not have anybody to come forward. So the 3 of us would be on stage, and Jamaicans would now hear the UIC position as well as the other 2 parties. But don't expect that. In the regular day-to-day, they make sure not to mention the UIC on TV or radio. They try their best not to mention our names, except if they find something bad to say.
It is very unfortunate because I believe this is working counterproductive to the people of Jamaica, in a sense, whereby a few control the narratives. And I long for the day, and I've been pushing this as much as possible, the education. It rings the same, Joseph, in regards to the Constitution. The whole Constitution reform is something which is somewhat, I would say, a bit defunct. You're not hearing much about that anymore now. That whole process of educating the people, because it doesn't resonate well with the major or the main key players if the people gets educated. Is it a way you want to keep the people dunce? That's why they like this thing fully dunce. Sorry, no disrespect.
No, you're so correct. You are so correct about that. They want the people to remain dunce, and that actually works. And it's working very, very effectively. And I gave you the wrong, what is it called?
I'll take it out.
Yeah, it's really info at uicjamaica.com. My sincerest apologies.
So all I got to do is put, okay, I got it. I got it.
Yes.
You said something at the start about the persons who normally vote in elections, and you distinguish between those who are up and down now, because I see the motorcades and I see 5, 10 or 10 people in the car, up and down. You're saying these are the persons that normally they get out to vote.
Yes.
The middle class and upper, they sometimes can't bother them foolishness. Them say them yard. That is why you had a
Exactly.
third. That's why you had a 30%, 30 some whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, remember, 63% did not vote.
Yes.
So in the last election, in the general election, 27% of the electorate. Now, just to give you a clear
Mm.
understanding, there are 1,900,000 persons on the voters list. Okay,
Yes, I remember that.
and
Yes.
only 27% of them voted in the last election. The sitting government right now got 21% of the total votes, of the total voter population, 21%.
Yes.
Okay, 21%. So the government is operating on a 21% approval, while the opposition is operating on a, what was it? They were like 14%. Yeah,
Yes. One
14.
one got, one got 300 and something thousand, I believe, and one got 400 and something thousand.
Yes,
I
out of 1.9
Out
million.
of 1.92 million. Yes.
Yes, the 1.9 million. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what they got. So that's the nature of, and they have no shame about it. They have no shame,
Mm.
and they get away with it because the those who form the middle and upper class, for them, the politics of Jamaica is literally just a joke. It's something
Mm.
they do follow the entertainment. So they will drink, they'll watch it on TV, they'll watch it and they'll see a who will win. But it's more like a football game. You don't take a
Mm.
football game, even though you might, in fact, I think they take a football game more seriously than the political game. So,
Yes.
sometimes a man will get very mad and upset with a foot if him team gets scored on or whatever. It's
Yes.
less than that for the politics here in Jamaica, where they just simply watch and it's entertaining. For example,
Mm.
last election, it was about who have the best dub plate.
Oh yes. Yes.
So who have the best? You're a big deal about the shoes the prime minister
The
wear,
clocks.
the
Oh
Clarks.
yeah. I saw a video where somebody said, "Watch your shoes. Watch your shoes. I'm ready now. I'm ready now." And they showed the zero on the
Yeah.
shoes. And I'm saying, this is wrong. I was saying to myself, somebody said to me, because of mine, said, Silver, you have to understand this is culture. And I said, no, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. You
Yeah.
can't fool the people in. You can't take the people in for idiots, man. You're taking the people for idiots.
And he's right that it's culture. But the question is, where did the culture come from? Because people have this culture is not something you just have. Culture
Yeah.
comes from your governance. I'll give you an
Mm.
example that I love to allude to. In Singapore, they have a culture of being the people highly against corruption. The people, the average person on the street, they're
Mm.
highly opposed to corruption. They have a culture of in Singapore of being very clean. Do you remember seeing in the last World Cup where the people from, I think it was Japan or one of those countries,
They're cleaning up
where
the place.
yeah, after the football match, they just automatically turn and pick up everything around them before they
Yes.
leave. Now
Yes.
they're not special, they're just programmed. It is a part of their culture because
Culture.
in Japan, when you go to school, they don't hire janitors. The children are taught to clean up after themselves in the school.
Yes.
There's a time in Jamaica when we did that many years ago. Do you remember? I don't know
I
if you
think I
remember.
remember. Yeah.
We used
Yeah.
to assign to the children the roles of cleaning up the
Yes.
classroom,
Yes.
cleaning up the grounds around the school, and it was a part of their normal routine. Now,
Mm.
when you do that to children and to young adults, and then that follows them into adulthood, and the behavior is different. But if you now change the script, like we have done in Jamaica, and start to culture our people to be nasty, dirty, and governments do this. If you have a government that doesn't insist on cleanliness, and a government which by itself isn't clean, you're going to see that manifested itself in the culture of the people.
Mm.
The same with corruption, Selburn, the same with being unproductive, the same with engaging in scamming. As the people look at the politician, they're the biggest scammers in Jamaica are the politicians. So you can't expect now the people coming up to be anti-scamming. They're going to be pro-scamming. You follow me?
Yes. Michelle just said I want to keep the people done. So exactly. So what you're saying is a mighty long road, a mighty struggle, Joseph.
Mhm. It
It's
is. It is. But I have hope because
yes.
Lee Kuan Yew did it in 25 years. when Lee Kuan Yew came into office in 1965 in Singapore, it was one of the dirtiest places, one of the most dangerous places, one of the most unproductive spaces because the English were coming out with their base and all kind of stuff. And Lee Kuan Yew took that country, read his book, from third world to first world in 25 years. He did that. One generation, Selburn. These two parties have now had 80 years, Selburn.
Yes.
80 years. This man used 25 years and make that country. When you go to Singapore, I don't know if you've ever been there. It is a magnificent place. It is so clean, so orderly, so pretty, so productive, so rich.
Yes.
The average, the GDP. Did you know that Singapore is richer than America? Did you know that?
I think I heard about it. Yeah. Based on the
by richer, what we mean is GDP per capita.
GDP.
So the average Singaporean is generating and earning more than the average American.
Yes.
The same Singapore that in 1965 was averaging and earning the same amount as Jamaicans in 1965. We had the same GDP per capita in 1965. And today, their GDP is more than 10, 20 times ours.
Is it a pipe dream then? As many people say, I got these pipe dreams, but just like you say, you got to have hope. So I got to have hope that the government and the party leader will sign up to the 7 codes of conduct. I've got hope at the same time that just like how they came together and they said, let's go for this vision 2030, which I don't see as being achievable because they're not working towards it. But if they work towards something like that and sit down and say, let us work towards that. Bringing UIC. Don't see your UIC as a threat, but see everybody as wanting to achieve the ultimate goal of a Jamaica, which is fully fledged, fully developed. Do you think that they see it as, if I give Joseph an opportunity in this, it weakens my chance. If I give that other person, it weakens their chance. So everybody wants to be singularly doing it alone.
Well, you have to understand the incentives, and everything in life is built around incentive.
Yeah.
If you incentivize people to do evil, they will do as much of it as possible.
Yes,
if you incentivize them to do good, they will. So in our model, the model of governance that we adopted in 1962, which was really an exact follow-on from 1944 with the basic change of replacing the foreign governor general with the local governor. The foreign governor with the local governor general. That model of governance, Selburn, I remember, you'll recall this. Back in the day, when one party would do something good, and when the other party come down, tear it down. You remember those days?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what happened when you have a tribalistic system, laying over a foundation of a highly uneducated population. Yeah. And so it's a pipe dream, what you're asking for. The only hope I see Jamaica having is where, while they keep doing what they're doing, the people become more conscious.
Yes.
And that consciousness comes now through access to media. So a lot of people are now watching things on social media, and it's causing them to have different thoughts. So for example, the typical Jamaican now will see videos that explains banking and money and finance and taxation and things that cause them now to kind of think, oh, I saw this thing up. So with that happening and the UIC emerging on the market, we are now a part of that educational process. And at some point, the dynamics will now start to shift, because over time, the people said, but it's 80 years. I was talking to one lady a while ago, she's now 65. She said, from 14 years old, my family, I vote GLP, and now me at 65. And me not say nothing. And she went on and on and on. And that is the basis. Now I'm ready for switch. Now, and she's 65, and her grandchild at the time that was there, 7 years old, and her granddaughter, 26 years old, and their daughter, which is 35 years old, they were there. And so now that is ringing in their ears. And that's where gradually the transformation won't come from the two colonial parties. It will never come from them. It's going to come from the people listening to information that stirs their desires and imagination, and then they make a switch. So come February 26th, you might find one or so non-GLP, BNP candidates. If they break through, that will be the beginning of something new in Jamaica.
Wow. In wrapping up, Joseph, what is your what do you see then for yourself and with UIC in breaking through? I mean, I'm sure you're not just looking to this election, you're looking beyond. Where do you see yourself leading up to the next 2025 election?
Right. So first and foremost, we don't know when the next election is going to be. By law, it must happen by February 2025, I believe, or March 2025. But the Prime Minister may call it at any time. That's the law. I suspect we'll have elections in 2024 for the general, right after this one here that we have in the local. The UIC is now gaining a lot of traction. You know, if you spoke a year ago, many persons said they don't know about the UIC. A year later, that's different.
But I think the government is supporting it because I see they're wearing your colors, your blue colors.
Listen, they try everything. I mean, they try to steal our colors. They try to steal our policies. They try to hijack our leadership. They try to destroy our party. So they're trying very hard. But the harder they come is the harder they're going to fall. And we continue to break new ground. We are, in fact, now, you know, I'm getting calls every day from every part of the country asking if we have a candidate in that area. People begging. And I said to them, I said, I'm so sorry, because the way we have candidates, you have to step forward from your community. And they don't understand that yet, because it's a different approach.
You don't park people, you don't put people there, place them on the people.
Exactly. So in the old way, they're used to the party just find somebody and drop them there. And so you have, like, for example, in my constituency, at a time when somebody who lived all the way in Kingston was the MP here. And we said, no, that can't work. So the people know, we have to be educating them to say, listen, step forward. You can find a person in your community and say, we believe in you, we trust you, we respect you. We want you to run as a UIC candidate, you know? So that's what's happening. So by the time the next election comes around, you're going to find this new way of thinking would have percolated and become a part of the thinking of the people. And you're going to find more brave souls, because I have braved it now. And they've seen me, I've taken all the beatings from 2013 to now. The confidence level will rise and more people will step forward. And you'll have the first authentic political party since Marcus Garvey. One where it's grassroots, one where it's funded and owned by the people, and one where it's able to work there for the people.
And one whereby the people will know that they were ready to go to the jail because the leader has gone to the jail already.
Absolutely.
Joseph, well, listen. I want to tell you, thank you for coming on. And I listened to a couple of voice notes. One of those voice notes with that young person there, you know, and it shows that the young people are thinking. They're thinking. They're not moved by what they're seeing, and I want to be also a part of that generation of. That's why I'm moving away from a lot of the noise with lots of discussions. I'm trying to be very targeted, and that's why, Joseph, one of the reasons why I've been targeting these 7 points. I know the Prime Minister and his team have not signed up to the 7 principles of public life, and I've been saying all these candidates should be saying that they are ready to say that their selflessness, they got integrity, they got objectivity, they got accountability, they got openness, and they got honesty. And I say to you as well, are your candidates ready, signed up in that respect? You know,
well, we have not been invited to the table, Silver.
No. I must confess, this is not something whereby they have to be invited to the table, but that is something within their psyche.
No, but that's a part of our constitution.
Yes. I'm glad you said that. No, yes.
So our constitution, our frame of reference, the foundation of our existence is built on these core values and core principles.
I forget that I interviewed you in London, isn't it?
Yes,
I will break it down.
absolutely, absolutely. So we don't have a problem. It's the others who have, and I can tell you this: even if they sign it on paper, they will not practice it. So I am more interested in the doing than the optics.
Yes.
They will. Look at what happened in Selburn. 3 years in a row now, the church, the church has an annual prayer breakfast.
Yes.
The church Selburn, we're not talking about a bar or a club.
Yeah. Yes.
The church has its annual prayer breakfast. There are 4 registered political parties in Jamaica, and the church has declined. The church has declined to invite the UIC or the JPP. The church has declined. And when asked, 2 years in a row, that's the first year they said, oh, it was an oversight. And the second year, oh, we missed it. And the third year, of course, not a word. The church, Selburn, when you see the church is involved so much in the whole business of political corruption, you're in serious trouble. Serious trouble. And the church has decided not to invite a registered, legally registered, on the record political party in Jamaica, and they have invited 2 political, which means they want to keep the status quo. The same way the media, which we would love for the media to be unbiased, to be real journalists. The media also makes sure that it does everything to exclude the UIC from the discussion. But we know why. The media, like the 2 parties, are owned and controlled by the same big money elites that I call the PSOJ oligarchs.
Wow. Well, I'll have to get someone from the PSOJ on one of my shows.
Yes.
And
also make sure you invite me. Make sure you invite me when you invite them.
And also I've got to get the Electoral Commission, because I saw your discussion regarding them and with the joining.
And the Debates Commission. So the Electoral Commission. So invite the ECJ, the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, and please, when you invite them as part of your program, show the list of names and faces of the persons who sit on the commission. You're going to see that they're very notable political persons from the 2 major political parties, and there'll be no representation on that body from the other 2 registered political parties. Okay, that's number 1. So the ECJ is actually a bipartisan body, meaning it's controlled by the 2 parties to pursue their interests, not the interests of the Jamaican people. That's the ECJ. The PSOJ now, you're going to find that is a special interest group that is working for special interests, and their interest is to ensure that the economy works on their behalf, and they will pump in this election, well, the last election, they pumped $330 million into the 6 weeks of election.
Yes.
Plus what they gave outside of election. 330 million Selburn. And this election, I can assure you, they will contribute even more. So the PSOJ and the church and the media controls Jamaica's political landscape, the narrative, the visibility of candidates, the visibility of the discussion, the narrative of the discussion. So if they don't want to talk about, for example, if they don't want to talk about the effects of bauxite mining and what it's doing to our farmers, what it's doing to our air quality, what it's doing to our water quality, if they don't want to make that a front and center topic to address the impact on the Jamaican people, you won't hear it, because the PSOJ and the media and the church and the 2 colonial parties will work together to suppress information, to suppress discussion, and to feed the people narratives that are misguided and which will misdirect them or distract them away from the real issues affecting their lives.
And I can add as well, and you can confirm this, the ombudsman and the issue, you weren't consulted in regards to that?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I totally object to them having the ombudsman being absorbed into the Electoral Commission. In fact, I don't even agree to having one ombudsman. You should have a panel. A panel of persons similar to the ECJ, but these must be truly independent persons, meaning the process of appointment should not be based on political affiliation. You know, you should have something where, you know, even if you're just going to do a draw, my goodness, just have a raffle, my God, and just because the way they do all the commissions and all the boards, they stock them with these parties and people, and then tell us these boards are working for us when they're working for the parties.
Well, I think that, you know, Joseph, I think the people of Jamaica need to rise up, and they've got to be educated. They have got to rise up. Actually,
absolutely.
I think the whole thing is in the hands of the people of Jamaica. Jamaica people.
Well, I tell you who has the handle.
Yeah.
The Jamaican people here at home will not rise up fast enough, Selburn. It's the diaspora who has to do it. You know why? You in the diaspora, I am certain all of you in the diaspora can find $25 a month to donate to a political party. I'm sure of that. Compared to the local Jamaican who don't feel as though they have the financial capacity. They might have it too, you know, but at a lesser level, because they do buy a lot of foolishness. Many Jamaicans spend money foolishly, even when they're poor. But mentally, they're not seeing that connection. But you in the diaspora who have left Jamaica and have been able to see a different way of life and see that we can do much better. We can have a safer Jamaica. We can have a cleaner, more orderly place. You know better. So if you guys in the diaspora would decide that, you know what, make we go own the UIC. Make all of just make up our own this part. Because then, you know, all of your desires will be realized because you're going to match the PSOJ now. 1,000 person in the diaspora donating $25 or $50 a month to the UIC to make it independent of the PSOJ. And a true, counterbalance to the other two parties would make all the difference, Albert. But as long as you guys sit on the sideline and leave us to suffer in the wilderness in a very harsh political environment where funds are very limited in terms of the local population, and the moment the diaspora realize how powerful this is, combined with the rest of our policies, we should all get behind this movement and make sure that it wins government and give us the Jamaica we want to see.
You know, it's interesting what you say, because I spoke to a couple of persons who are independent candidates, and they have also highlighted that the diaspora is where they actually need that support from, in a way, because it seems like the traction of the people there with the pressure of the both sides, they're finding it very difficult, you know, to really break through, even though they're independent. So they're looking for this other push. It's
it's money, right, Selmer? You cannot win an election without money. Plain and simple. And the question is where you get it from. Now the PSOJ has no vested interest in giving money to anybody else because they have two horses in the race and their horses are well established and will likely win. They have no need to go and give another $350 million to some other group. They give almost equal amount to the two, and they own the two. So we, the others, now have to find funding elsewhere. And I think the best place for that funding to come from is from the diaspora, but not just the money. I want the brain power of the diaspora as well. I want the diaspora to become active in the party, be a part of the policy instrument, be a part of the think tank, be a part of the solution. So for example, let's go on to fix the transportation system. I'm sure there are people in the diaspora who have experience and knowledge in logistics from a transportation standpoint and what we can and should do. We want to fix the healthcare system. I'm sure we have brilliant persons in the diaspora who can bring knowledge to the discussion and help us with that. So I want to embrace the diaspora, not just financially, but intellectually as well.
Yeah. And of course, person within the diaspora of recent days, they're saying you don't have the local standard to even take a case because you're not recognized. But hey, bring the money come. 3 billion has been seen to be the power which has come in from the diaspora as well. Joseph, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on again. I know we always try to catch up with each other each time. I wish you all the best in the election on the 26th. Of course, we'll talk again. And I'm here anytime there's something that you want to share or whatever like that, you know, let me know as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and all the best to your team as well, Joseph.
Appreciate it. All the best,
Thank
and
you.
thanks for having me again. Take care.
Cheers,
Good
sir.
night, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye. God bless you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Cheers.
Okay.
One Jamaica TV.